We've been highlighting the wave of billionaires who are all getting out of the stock market this summer and buying gold. Well, now it's a trillionaire. Of course, he's not officially on top in the most wealthy lists, but that's because the Rothschilds have been experts in hiding their wealth for centuries. When Jacob Rothschild's great-great-great-grandfather, Meyer Amschel Rothschild, died in 1812, his will explicitly stated that no public inventory of his estate was to be published and that no legal action was to be taken with regard to the value of the inheritance. It's also been suggested that the Rothschilds used private, unrecorded, limited partnerships to accumulate wealth. You know, like all the ones in the Panama Papers. By the end of the 19th century, it was estimated that the Rothschild family controlled half the wealth of the world. No one can prove it, of course, but it seems likely. You can see their fingerprints on many current events. In fact, their family has likely caused and financed both sides of nearly every war since, and control virtually every central bank. And so when Jacob Rothschild says that he is buying gold because the central banks are out of control, you have to laugh. He and his family have been in control of the world's central banks for centuries. But he said it nonetheless. In his semi-annual address to shareholders of RIT Capital Partners, Jacob Rothschild announced that they are reducing stock market and currency exposure and increasing their gold holdings, and warns that the world is now in uncharted waters and that the consequences are impossible to predict. He stated, "The 6 months under review have seen central bankers continuing what is surely the greatest experiment in monetary policy in the history of the world. We are therefore in uncharted waters, and it is impossible to predict the unintended consequences of very low interest rates, with some 30% of global government debt at negative yields, combined with quantitative easing on a massive scale. It's not impossible to predict. There's going to be a gigantic crash." That's what Rothschild is telling us, and what our analysis of Shemitah and now Jubilee 2016 revealed to us. Financial disasters track these timelines, and Rothschild knows all about it. He's the best man to predict what is going to happen because he and other globalist elites have created the timeline of catastrophe that we regularly analyze and predict. And he's being clear that this timeline of catastrophe is moving ahead. For observers like us and you, he is stating the obvious, and others are making it clear as well. With just a month and a half until the end of the Jubilee year, very connected billionaires are warning that things are going horribly wrong. It's no coincidence. George Soros began to move heavily into gold a few months ago, and so did his buddy Crispin Odey. And now Jacob Rothschild himself is moving into gold. We're certain they already own tremendous sums of it, but he is buying even more now in the final days of Jubilee 2016. Rothschild and the others want us to believe they are concerned about this state of affairs. He's pretending he's making his move because he is worried. He's not worried. He knows what is going to happen. He helped plan it. They are acting concerned, but it's just an act.